get our meeting started. Starting at 7:06 on my, well, 7:07 we'll call it. When I finally got my watch, the Greenwich Mean Time. Now I lost my. Well, what comes up? Why did I printed it out and I just lost it? The not minutes, agenda. Oh, that's not it. I have lots of veterans. Well, here we go. He was in among the veterans. Okay, call to order. We're all in order. So roll call. Dana, yes. Liz, yes. Mark, yes. Eric, yes. Where'd Jim go? Jim, yes. Okay, any public participants? I don't think so.
Nobody else is on.
Okay. Reports from boards. Diane Geller at Norwalk Historical Society.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to update you on what's been going on. I want to thank everybody who was able to come to Earth Day on April 27th. It was great. It was a great showing with all the organizations. So we were happy that everybody got together and with the city. So we're going to do it again next year. And we had like 1,500 people show up at the Green. It was like amazing. So we're very happy that it went off. Let's see. Also, the 30th went to Norwalk Day. It was the first time we had Norwalk Day since 2019. It was wonderful to do a kickoff up in Hartford and at the Capitol. So we're back, doing our thing, going back to normal. The only thing that happened that got canceled due to that big fire was that thing that happened beginning of May was the Norwalk River Valley Trail. They were going to do their second annual celebration, and they had to cancel that week. But they'll be back next year to doing that, and we'll be participating. We had a Martini and May tasting on May 9th, which was wonderful, with our guest speaker, Greg Glaser. So we'll do something again, either later on this year or again next year. It was fun. So hope to see all of you next year. Coming up for Memorial Day on Monday, Mill Hill will be open from 10 to noon, to help celebrate the Memorial Day Parade, which starts at Betts Park at 10 o'clock, goes down Fort Point to East Avenue, and ends at the Norwalk Green. We actually have veterans buried at Mill Hill. So Mill Hill will be entirely open from 10 to noon, and people can visit if you're not watching the parade during that morning. The veterans, they are having, if you don't already know, they're having a reception after the Memorial Day Parade at the at 60 County. So everybody, and I'm supposed to be spreading the news to show up. So they're quite excited about everything happening at the American Legion. So after the parade, everybody is welcome there. We are also getting set for the Mill Hill Garden Party on June 28th, which is a Friday night, 6:30, with Perry and friends. So you'll be seeing more about that. And we're also preparing for the Lafayette Bicentennial visit on August 20th. That's Tuesday. And that is when he visited 200 years ago on that day it made a stop in Norwalk right after Greenwich. So we're going to be celebrating, and we're going to have a Lafayette reenactor. The American Friends of Lafayette has engaged that will be going through I think they have 4 of them, that's going through all the states. So he went through 24 states in like a year and a half. We were early on, right after New York. He made his way through Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, the whole thing. So so Norwalk will be celebrating, Greenwich will be, and then I think New Haven. So not all the towns will be participating, but we do have that website, which is the Lafayette Connecticut Trail, so that you can find out what's going on in Connecticut. So we're really excited about that. So you'll be seeing more information, and it should be fun. And I think we're going to have the Second Continental Dragoons helping to escort Lafayette to Mill Hill. So stay tuned. So again, and we're also doing an opening reception on the exhibition for that. So that's going to occur at the same time. So we are working on that as we speak, and the speaker series for the fall. And we are going to make sure that the exhibit's going to travel around the city. So we're designing it so that it can be picked up and moved. So they're going to be on retractable banners, and so you'll see. So you don't necessarily have to come to Mill Hill. So we'll have it go throughout the city, including City Hall and a couple of schools and out to Rowayton. So look out for it. But that's all we have for right now. Any questions?
No, sounds great. And the Lafayette reenactor, he only speaks French, right? No.
No, he learned how to speak English while he was here.
I'm thinking of the other guy, the Polish guy. Never mind. Kosciuszko. Okay, thank you, Diane.
I can't see if Susie is on.
I don't see her name
Okay,
listed
so,
on the side, so
all right, well, I didn't anticipate being the only one from the mansion on, so I'm gonna fill in the best I can. There is a lot going on, not just the construction. Last Sunday, we had our annual tea in Fairfield. We've been very lucky with so many people sharing their venues with us. Mill Hill, obviously, and the Norwalk Library, and now the Fairfield Historical Society did a joint venture with our annual tea, and it was very successful. And then we have a lecture coming up June 2nd, and I honestly don't know where that is, but I know it's online, so I'm sorry about that. We're planning to do our annual flea market on site at the mansion. And the fences will not be down, so it'll be surrounding all around. And our gala, we're doing this year at Shore and Country Club in East Norwalk, and that is on October 19th. So Susie is busy making plans for opening and exhibits that we're working on, because we want to have a real big splash when we get through this mammoth project that we're working on. So to that end, actually, usually every Tuesday, but this week it happened to be Wednesday, we have a several hour on-site job meeting with all of the players, the construction people, but also the state participates, preservation and development in all of our meetings. So it's wonderful coordination. And project-wise, we're probably about 60% done. The target for being finished changes every week. So this week it was we were told we're looking at late December. So we will not be open for any part of the turn of the year holiday season. And we honestly don't know. So we have to keep adjusting, and it's difficult to do, but we're managing it. once they do move out of the building and they do a thorough cleaning, it'll probably take us almost 2 months to move back in, which means bringing all of the treasures that are stored in the art center in Long Island back, getting uncrating, literally uncrating them, getting them clean, putting them back in place, and moving staff and everything else. It's going to be a big project for us. So we're in the middle of planning all of that kind of activity. So we're sort of looking for early spring, but as again, we don't know. So we're just trying to plan everything. We want to have a series of open houses for all of the people that have made this happen, everybody that's helped us to raise the money, the city and the state. And today, the contractors there have wanted to have an opening for the contractors, and then we started talking about wouldn't it be nice to invite their families to come in a private opening on an early weekend when we are available, when the mansion is put back together, and so they can see, because they didn't see the mansion furnished. And the contractors and people working on the job are from all over the state of Connecticut. So it's also a nice reach out to get the mansion in front of new people, because contractors talk to each other and work together. So we're trying to plan some of those kind of open houses for the Norwalk residents who have supported a large part of this. It's almost $18 million project now. So the first floor and second floor floors are back in place, and the third floor floors are now up, and they're putting all of the electricity and the fire prevention systems in place. Major work is happening in the basement, and next meeting, we have to set, I have to get so that I can show you some new pictures. So I don't know how you do it with your Zoom program, because the basement is amazing, and we have found several interesting bottles, green bottles that were in the tunnels, left in the tunnels, that you probably have heard that there were tunnels that went down to the river to bring sucked air up into the building for, a pseudo air conditioning system. And we found a finishing tool on the third. We didn't find it. The crew find it, and every time they find something, they call me all excited. You got to come over and see this. They found a very interesting finishing tool that was abandoned and left between the joists of the third floor. It looks like it was hardly ever used, and it was from Paris. And there, and then we found a piece of newspaper article from the New York paper in 1867. So fascinating. But that's what no ghosts. We haven't found any ghosts. So we're looking for them. One of the most exciting things that it is going to be visible is the restoration of the front doors. And that's a separate project. I don't know if you remember that, but it's $150,000 project. And it is a matching grant from one of our trustees and the state to restore the doors. And we were signing that contract today. And when you see all the metal pieces that were on the doors, there were fleur-de-lis, two different size fleur-de-lis and straps, and two faces. I never know what the right word to describe what they are, but maybe one of you know what they are. And these side grills that we thought at one point we might have to reproduce one of them, and to do that, it would be, we estimated $40,000 to yeah. So it's gonna be amazing. And of course, it's the front door. So that's gonna be a very powerful statement for us. So that's what we're up to. And I don't know if you're aware, but David Westmoreland is now on our Board of Trustees. So we're delighted with that. And several of our trustees are aging and looking for retirement. So we're trying to find new trustees that have some good energy. And you all know how much energy David has. So we're very excited about that. So on the project itself, I don't know if you have any questions or thoughts. I'm happy to try to answer them for you.
I have one. Would the third floor be included on the tour now, or is that?
No,
Okay.
it's not. Still
Yeah.
a fire code.
Oh,
It would need another egress. And so it's going to be, it was storage. And a lot of the new mechanicals are unfortunately going to be exposed, not buried within the walls and the floors. But you know, the basement probably is probably going to bring the most activity because we're going to have a community room where we can have educational programs. It's under the billiards room, and other events, you know, lectures, school programs, you know, meetings, whatever, along with the archives on the south side of the whole building, from under the library through to the salon are going to be archives. And we are not obviously doing the bowling alley. That's not part of it, but you have to, we're improving a way to walk over the bowling alley so that you can get to this space. But I'm sure, you know, in the next few years, that will happen, because I know people are really focused on making that happen. And I don't think it would be that expensive. What all of this mechanical stuff that you don't see is what's costing so much money. And the basement, you need to really see these pictures. I was down in the basement today for the first time, probably in 6 weeks. They wouldn't let me go down. It was too dangerous. So I got down there today, but they're doing trenches that are like, you know, 2.5 feet to 3 feet deep throughout the basement. And then they're pouring cement structures to hold all of the wiring and the plumbing. And then they're topped with a metal casing, and then there'll be some dirt on top of that. And then all of the bluestone that was taken out by hand and stored on the property will now be going back in space. So the basement is fabulous. You know, it's probably more interest for me. I think it's more interesting space than the third floor. So we've poured a lot of thought and money into that. There was a previous project 5-6 years ago with the state funding to put the second egress into that space so that now we meet code. And so now that was what allowed us to finish this room off and have it be usable. It was just storage before. So programming wise, it's going to be very helpful. So that's it.
great. Thanks, Patsy.
Okay. Can I be excused?
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night, everybody. Have a great
night.
holiday.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Fine.
Say hi to everybody.
I will.
Okay, next up, reports, buildings. I need to remind someone to send me reports from that outfit that takes care of the buildings. I can't remember their name. Michelle, do you happen to remember? Not that it matters this minute, but
Is it are you talking about Neil?
yeah,
Building management?
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I
is
can-
some group that does it, or he's in,
Yeah,
there's some group name, but anyway, yeah, I don't have that. I have nothing on buildings today. Cemeteries, I have a little bit on. I have flags for Mill Hill and Pine Island. I'm just going over lists for those. Those both are in good shape. Kellogg needs mowing, but that's pretty small. I don't know who does the mowing, the city. Things I should know. And of course, I can't remember
I
our,
seem to recall at one point David was talking about the next door neighbor occasionally takes care of the Kellogg.
okay. Yeah, maybe even, yeah. Or even our friend, Mr. I can't remember his name, Harrington. And our others, Reed, and what's our other cemetery? I forgot. Oh, Brookside. Yeah, Brookside, I probably should.
Comstock.
Comstock, right. Is that? Yeah, okay. I have to look at my list. And Reed. So I guess we have 5 cemeteries. So that's that. I don't know what that screen is. Next up is financials, which I also don't have. David was taking care of that. So if anyone can think of you, any of you out there can think of anyone that might be good for our commission that is also financially, what's the word I want? Fit. We could use a person like that, unless we could lure Suzanne back into town. So that's that. No report on financials. Next up is old business. Do we have any old business? I don't think so. New business. I didn't finish reading the article, but I guess the new hotel has received approval from P&Z. So I guess they'll want to remove 25 South Main. And I guess they would have to reapply for 31 and 35 South Main. Is that right, Michelle?
in regard to the demolition or?
Yeah, right, demolition. Would they have to?
When I spoke to Bill Ireland last, they are okay. Well, I think they have up until May 31st to pull their building permit. And then 25, they have to do the pre-demo process with the demolition delay ordinance compliance and everything. So 31, 35, they've complied with the pre-demo. They're just getting ready to pull their demo permit. If they don't pull their demo permit by the end of the month, then they will have to go back through the pre-demo process with the demolition delay ordinance coming into play again. So I guess just keep an eye on
Right.
those.
So
two
even
properties.
though it's not the same company, that still can carry over the demolition.
So how the building department treats it is that it runs with the land, not necessarily the property owner. So it's
Okay.
like it's same with any other kind of permit. It runs with
Right.
the property.
Isn't that the problem we ran into with the straw factory
Yes,
where Loman Plaza was?
right. Somehow that got past us.
You guys can
Is
cut
that
out for a
something that
bit.
we can change, or does that have to be building? So like if the property changes and the new owner should reapply for a permit?
It would seem that way because if we had, I don't remember, I wasn't the chairperson when they first did that Quincy Street thing. But if we apply for a demo delay and there's a change of ownership, why would it kind of start from scratch but not include us? Yeah, that's a little bit of a scary area. Maybe Jim can look into that. Jim's like, what?
I think it goes with the property though. It doesn't have anything to do with the,
Yeah, I know that,
owner.
yeah, as Mark said, there was something kind of fishy with how Quincy Street 3 Quincy Street disappeared on us.
I was saying just moving forward, is that something that we can get changed?
Right,
So that if the property changes, then the new owners need to reapply. It
Right.
shouldn't just,
Well, there's probably an ordinance for that, and there is a charter revision exercise going on that we could probably take a look at that.
right.
It would mean changing whatever ordinance there is out there.
Yeah, I could
And-
talk to Bill with in regards to the demolition delay ordinance, because I know, we did speak about making some changes so it's clear. I think it was when Miss Cece, came to a public hearing talking about the one cemetery, and she didn't really understand the order and the ordinance wasn't clear. So I spoke to Matt Sapienza, who's in Corporation Counsel, and Bill Ireland, and we discussed making some edits to it. So maybe change of ownership is something we can also bring up at that point too.
Right. Yeah, because that's more important than, I mean, she's concerned about what's going there, but that's not our bailiwick to discuss what happens. We can't put up a thing because we don't like what's going up next.
Right.
is that something that we could sit down together, like the two committees, and work that out?
So what we'll do is, I'll bring up the points that were discussed in regards to the property and then property ownership. And then, I recall some discrepancies, basically just clarity within the ordinance, having a little more order on who does what and when and everything. So staff can put that together and then we'll bring it back to you guys to take a look at and tweak and everything. So. And then the order will eventually go to ordinance committee once you guys okay it, and then it'll work its way up.
Or maybe go through the charter revision committees that are going on now. So there is charter revision going on, so that we have to find out what the charter has to say about this.
And that's on your, that's on the commission, that's on your commission, right? Is that where that
No.
wording? Oh, I mean.
No, but the charter, the whole council gets involved in
Okay,
the charter
council is the word
revisions.
I wanted, not commission, council, okay.
No, but I mean, it's not an individual, it's the whole thing.
Right.
Because there's a lot of different people go in and out of it all the time.
Yeah. Moving
And
part,
that would then dictate what the ordinance would say.
yep. Okay. The Uncommon Council, change the name.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so that's, yeah, thanks, Mark, for bringing that up again. Minutes, who read the minutes?
I have some corrections.
Okay,
Under attendance,
Yeah.
Susie Gilgore is listed as if she's a member of the commission, which she's not. She should be under other. And I really think that, since we're showing Diane's affiliation with the Norwalk Historical Society, Patsy and Susie should have their affiliations shown vis-a-vis Lockwood Matthews. Under call to order, oh, by the way, under other, Diane Jelleret, the spelling of her last name needs to be corrected.
in 2 places.
Actually, yeah, there was a couple of places throughout the
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least. 2 places.
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, call to order. Called, this is my most pedantic act here. Called should have a lowercase c, and the W needs to come out of the.
No, it's a new word, just kidding.
You,
You,
under, on page 2, 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph, Ms. Jelleret, we need a space between Ms. and Jelleret. Under cemeteries, she also stated that the crew had to stop. Crew is out of context. We don't know, reading this, we don't know what crew that is. I realize it's the crew that's working at the mansion, but there's nothing in this language to indicate such for anybody on the outside who may be reading the minutes. On page 3, first line, 32 Knight Street should be Knight Street, as in days of old when knights were bold and sheep were nervous. And that's me. Oh, one last thing. Since time immemorial, committees and whatnot that I have been on, the reading of the approval of the minutes comes towards the beginning of the meeting, not at the end. Now, whether
Yeah.
we want to have it after roll call or after public participation is immaterial to me. But I think we should get the old minutes taken care of and before we move on to any of the other business.
It does seem like it used to be that way.
And that said, I move to approve. Oh, you have to
Oh.
make a motion
I found
to
one of
approve the
the
minutes as amended.
one of the under B, which must be for Lockwood Matthews Matching Stepping Stone, became one word, which is 2 words.
Through the chair, it's
Yeah.
Sharon. What's the date on those minutes, please?
April 24th, 2024.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so that's all I saw. And so what's Eric's favorite thing? And Mark's probably favorite thing is doing the word I can't remember.
I don't know, before we
True.
do that, did you see that they
Okay.
approved a hotel for Isaac Street?
Isaac's. No, I did not.
I just saw that they approved a hotel for Isaac Street, I think for 21 and 23.
You might want to mute yourself, Sharon.
Oh, sorry. Question before I do.
Yeah.
Did somebody just move the minutes?
We did
No,
not.
Not yet.
No,
Okay.
I'll
Is
make
Commissioner,
I'll make a motion to,
Jackson- I'm sorry, is Commissioner Jackson referring to the Isaac Street Hotel from the 2020, from the April minutes?
no, it was something else. That can just be paused.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So let's get back to motion is the word I can never remember. I
I'll
don't
make
know.
a motion to accept the minutes as amended by Eric and Dana.
Okay, so,
Seconded.
okay, and thirded. Okay, so that's, the minutes have been approved for April
No, they haven't
24th.
yet. You have got to take a
Oh.
vote first.
Oops, vote. Yeah, I got motion, then vote. Okay, do we all vote in favor of the approval of the minutes? That's not how it's said, but I think we have Jim wasn't there, so I
I
think that's
abstained.
all in favor. What's that word?
4 in favor,
Unanimous?
1 abstention. No,
unanimous.
it's 1 abstention.
It's not
One
unanimous.
abstention by Jim Frayer. Okay,
Are we going to make a motion to have the minutes be read and reviewed at the beginning of the meeting?
oh, that's a good point. That
I don't
does
think we
work.
really need a motion on that. I
We
think that's the way the agenda comes out.
Okay.
It just follows the agenda, that's all.
Okay,
That
And
seems,
I thought that, and usually it's called to order, then public comment, and then the minutes, and then old business, new business, etc.
okay,
follows, okay.
yeah, it does seem like it's, somehow it got bopped to way down at the bottom. So, yes, we'll just keep that in mind for next month and all eternity.
Then can we
So-
just go back for a second?
sorry.
We were talking about the hotels on
Right,
South Main Street, is it?
correct,
Um,
yes.
So
Isaac Street.
what's
Oh,
happening?
those
with that?
hotels,
I'm not
sorry.
quite sure I followed that.
So Tom Rich, I believe that's his name, stepped out of the Marriott, which is the one to the south. And I guess, did his company already own 31 to 35? I can't remember, but he got 25 and now he has plans for another hotel, 100-room hotel on that spot there, 8 stories. I did get to, I don't know if I recommend you sitting through 4 hours of the P&Z meeting from
No,
April.
it's okay.
And it's, to me, of course, it's like nibbling away at our historic district because those are contributing factors. And in past meetings about that area, they had said there was nothing historic about it. But this time there was a new Wes Haynes brought up all sorts of historical information about both properties, including that 25 South Main had been built by Brian McMahon's father, so William McMahon. So that was something I didn't know about. And Ullman was also very, I shouldn't talk. He,
I don't mean to be
yeah.
facetious, but is that really an historic fact that it was Brian McMahon's father that built it?
The thing is, it has to be, I guess, when the milieu, the whole, if we just keep chipping away at the historic district because George Washington didn't sleep there, we end up losing bit by bit. It becomes less important. And that is a national, it's contributing for National Historic District. Those are contributing buildings to Washington Street's historic district. So it's more about just losing bit by bit for these. I mean, it's not a horrible building, but it's not great. It doesn't really fit in my eye. I mean, even the bricks just look brand new. They say they use bricks, but they're not the same as 100-year-old bricks. And they, as coming from a historian's point of view, it just doesn't thrill me. And whether this is just sort of a pipe dream that Tom Rich has. But yeah, so it's more about.
So we're not still holding up. We're not still holding up demolition then?
Well, when
So-
we get that pre-demo, we can, one of us can bring up, can delay that for 120 days until we figured out what we can do.
But I mean, if it's inevitable that it's going to come, should we not start to think about that now? Because I mean, I honestly feel it's a little, if we have doubts about whether the historic doubts or no, or feel strongly that it's got historic value, shouldn't we start talking about it right now and doing the investigation to find out what we want to do with it, as opposed to waiting
Right.
until, and then, you tack on another 120 days on top of that. That's really not very fair to the guy who's going to build it or is going to
Right.
wants to tear it down. And, if I was going to tear down a building, I'd rather, and I was going to be denied, I'd want to know right away before I even spend a nickel on it.
I should I know SHPO was involved with this. Talk again to Todd. He's the SHPO person, State Historic Preservation Office. That's what that stands for. Because they are also involved in this. And I know the Norwalk Preservation Trust was involved with it. Some of us wrote letters as private citizens about how we felt about losing these properties. And again, I know we're not Nantucket, but that's why, partly why people think Nantucket or any place in, Portsmouth, New Hampshire has more of a feeling of a history, whereas we're kind of based on the tax base. That's our bottom line. So historical things are not our top priority in Norwalk.
So, but I mean, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, instead of tearing it down, we want to say, could you move it someplace? That's probably not a plausible idea.
Right.
But
although, I mean, yeah.
Maybe he can restore it to, fix up whatever has to be fixed up to make it a stable building and keep the facade that's historical of nature. And we sell that to him. And so I guess the question is, what is it that we want to save? Is it just the facade of the building? does it have interior? Probably doesn't have anything on the interior. It's probably just the big
No.
empty box by now.
If I
They
could
did-
just
Yes.
add something quick just
Right.
to think about, because I
Mhm.
also, I know this came up before, and when it's, so right now, as it stands, the 3135 South Main Street has been approved. Well, has passed the intent to demolish process and can pull its demolition permit tomorrow and knock the building down. And then 25 could be potentially on your radar. But then,
Okay.
talking about historical properties that really have no ordinance or regulation authority from this commission to really talk about or act on, could have potentially predetermined, if it does come on, for you guys to discuss it later on. You don't want to have a predetermined determination about what you guys want this potential building to do in the future. If 25 does put an intent to demolish in, and it comes across your desk tomorrow, then I think put it on the agenda, do the proper way and discuss it. But I just want to put that
Okay,
out.
I'm sorry. I thought that we were talking about the what is it, 3135 or something? That's the ones I thought we were talking about. I thought that the permit had been sold to somebody, or the building had been sold to somebody else, and then they were going to still had plans to build a hotel there, and that we were going to open the whole thing up again. And there was some talk about possibly, having delaying the demolition of it. But in the case that it's already gone past the demolition period, it's a fait accompli. It's all over. It's over and done with. So we move on to the next one. And I agree that we shouldn't be talking about the possibility of that building over that. What is it, 25?
Yeah.
Is the next building. And we can't really start to talk about that because we don't know what's going on with that.
Right.
Okay.
Although back to 31 and 35, it's the same property, but as Mark said, it's changed ownership, but it's granted that it still gets to have that,
It went through the whole
Demolition.
process and now they can
Right.
tear it down.
except it's not the same people. Oh, it
But
is the same
that's-
person, but he's saying, yeah, so that's
Yeah,
where
but
things-
that's immaterial. I mean,
well, it should be, because then we have, I know we don't have much power anyway, but if someone, like again, 3 Quincy Street, they changed ownership and then they were allowed to tear it down because of an existing demolition permit, which is actually not exactly, it seemed like that. Michelle, can you tell me, if someone applies for a demolition, what is the runtime, the age of how long is that active, that permit?
From my understanding, and I actually spoke to Bill about this today, is that once they get a demolition permit, I believe they have 6 months.
Okay,
Um,
because I'm pretty sure
Okay,
that
so I have
that was
3140.
it was definitely not 6 months, but so that's not our problem now. It's gone, unfortunately. But yeah, so also the question of when, yeah, we have to find out when the actual demolition permit was. Okay, well, that's any day now, May 31st for 31 to 35 South Main.
yeah, so with the intent to demolish, they have 6 months, or
Active.
yeah, 6 months to get their demolition permit, but they also can grant 1 6-month extension, which they also sought. So that brought them to the May 30, I
Okay,
believe it's a May 31st deadline to get their demolition permit for 3135 South Main Street.
okay. And again, same property, but different owners. So that's what Mark is trying to iron out. And Jim is talking about charter revision, the clarity in the ordinance is one of our problems.
So the new
Yes,
the
Eric.
new owner of 3135, is that a completely different entity or is the same beneficial ownership just under a different like LLC name?
It's, I think Tom Rich did have something to do with this. Going to be some forensics going on here. Tom Rich, I think, was involved with the other hotel, the Marriott. I can't remember the address, the one immediately to the south. But then he became, I believe, the sole owner of this new thing because he's in a competition with that hotel now with this new plan. So
you're talking about 3135.
correct. Which
Okay.
then involves the Red Cross wants me to give blood. So it's the same person, but then he's got 31 to 35 to South Main, but then he also wants to add 25 so he can have the 100 room to match his other former property. Is what it seems to be.
Okay, I'm still not clear, but never mind.
Yeah. So what we are looking for clarity, and Norwalk does have a lot of
I
moving
mean,
parts.
Tom Rich was involved in the ownership under the prior owner, and now
I
he's
believe he
the
was.
new owner. And
And-
who is now?
I'm
He's
not
still the
sure.
owner.
He's still the owner. Okay.
I'm sorry?
Tom Rich
I
is
missed
the
that.
owner, and he's the owner of 31, 35, and 25, Tom Rich. Perhaps I'm not
Okay,
aware,
so
but
did-
maybe he changed LLCs or something, and that's what we're looking at now, but I don't, he's been the owner.
Right.
Okay, but if it's just a change of LLC, then it's still same beneficial ownership because it's still the same underlying individual.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Well, hopefully we can figure this all out.
What's to figure out? I'm not quite sure.
Like
Because the
we
guy
talked about a
is-
few minutes ago about just trying to clarify.
No, I'm just talking about in this particular instance, 3135.
Again, this is
It's,
similar,
it's over and done with.
right?
He can,
Yeah,
he
it's
can
done
tear
and
it down.
dusted.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm wondering what are we talking more about for?
Well, it does seem, as Mark brought up, it does seem the wolf changed his clothing or whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
but then we can't do anything about that now.
right.
We have
Yeah.
to go forward and see what the ordinance says and what the,
Yeah, but so as Mark
Marcy.
said before, we do need to have some sort of clarity in that ordinance. Because people are, then yeah, we are the historical commission, so we do like to see what we have and preserve it.
oh, yeah. Don't
Yeah,
get me
yeah.
wrong. I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you. But in this case, we had our say and it's over and done with.
Anyway, I know I probably need to talk to Todd at SHPO about their plans, and Todd with 1D at Norwalk Preservation Trust about at least 25 South Main. But I believe
Which Tom Rich also owns.
yes, correct.
Okay,
And actually, I
but he's
believe
made no application for anything about that yet.
correct, but he actually owns a lot of
All right.
property down there. So,
Well, his, just to clarify, his newest application that he was approved through planning and zoning did include 31, 35, and 25.
okay,
So I'm anticipating if he's planning to go forward with that approval, the 25 South Main Street should be going for pre-demolition at some point in the near future.
right. If not sooner. No.
So then we can expect the same exercise in futility.
Perhaps, yes. But we're gonna have a nice weekend in between, right?
Okay,
Anyway, I think it's we approved the minutes. And we sort of talk about new business in the wrong order, but that's okay. So we come to step 9, which is, I think, Eric's favorite part of the meeting.
How can you miss a meeting if I don't go away? I move to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Okay. I think Mark is sort of saying yes or scratch. Oh, yes. So that, do we have to do anything else? We don't have to vote on that, do we? We just,
We have to vote.
Yeah.
We have to vote.
okay, I vote we adjourn the meeting at
We gotta see if
7:57.
everybody else votes the same way.
Yeah. Oh, right. Anyone not voting?
My
for-
hand's raised.
Anyone
I
else want
vote
to have the
to
meeting
adjourn.
go till 10 o'clock,
No,
11
okay.
o'clock? Okay. I
Looks
think that,
unanimous.
Before we
Great.
leave, though,
Oh.
before we leave, I have one more thing I'd
No,
like
we
to
already
say.
adjourned.
Jill, I'd like to
I
thank
think-
you for doing such an excellent job of keeping us up to date and posted on everything as we go along through the course of the month from meeting to meeting. Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Good night.
Good night,
Happy
everybody.
Memorial Day.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
happy
too.
Memorial Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.